Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotar Sat His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravista Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotar Sat His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Prem Sri Gahol Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Purushottam Kshetra Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhattarinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27, Text 4, Understanding Material Nature. Arthe avidyamāne saṁsṛtir nivartate dhyāyato viṣayān asya svapne narthāgamo yathā arthe avidyamāne saṁsṛtir nivartate dhyāyato viṣayān asya svapne narthāgamo yathā arthe avidyamāne saṁsṛtir nivartate dhyāyato viṣayān asya svapne narthāgamo yathā. Arthe avidyamāne saṁsṛtir nivartate dhyāyato viṣayān asya, svapne anartha. Ladies, saṁsṛtiḥ nivartate. Word for word, arthe, real cause, he, certainly, avidyamāne, not existing, api, although, saṁsṛtiḥ, the material existential condition, na, not, nivartate, does cease, dhyāyatāḥ, contemplating, viṣayān, objects of the senses, asya, of the living entity, svapne, in a dream, anartha, of disadvantages, āgamaḥ, arrival, yathā, like. Translation. Actually, a living entity is transcendental to material existence. But because of his mentality of lording it over material nature, his material existential condition does not cease. And just as in a dream, he's affected by all sorts of disadvantages. Purport. The example of a dream is very appropriate. Due to different mental conditions, in dreams we are put into advantageous and disadvantageous positions. Similarly, the spirit soul has nothing to do with this material nature. But because of his mentality of lording it over, he is put into a position of conditional existence. Conditional existence is described here as dhyāyato viṣayān asya. Viṣayān means an object of enjoyment. As long as one continues to think that he can enjoy material advantages, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as he comes to his senses, he develops the knowledge that he is not the enjoyer. For the only enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 5:29. He is the benefactor for all the results of sacrifices and penances, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam, and he is the proprietor of all the three worlds, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the actual friend of all living entities. But instead of leaving proprietorship, enjoyment, and the actual position as the friend of all living entities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we claim that we are the proprietors, the enjoyers, and the friends. We perform philanthropic work thinking that we are the friends of human society. Someone may proclaim himself to be a very good national worker, the best friend of the people and of the country, but actually he cannot be the greatest friend of everyone. The only friend is Krishna. One should try to raise the consciousness of the conditioned souls to the platform of understanding that Krishna is the actual friend. If one makes friendship with Krishna, one will never be cheated, and he will get all the help needed. Arousing this consciousness of the conditioned soul is the greatest service, not posing oneself as a great friend of another living entity. The power of friendship is limited. Although one claims to be a friend, he cannot be a friend unlimitedly. There are unlimited number of living entities, and our resources are limited. Therefore, we cannot be of any real benefit to the people in general. The best service to the people in general is to awaken them to Krishna consciousness, so that they may know that the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme friend is Krishna. Then this illusory dream of lording it over material nature will vanish. Very powerful purport, as usual, by Srila Prabhupada. A living entity is transcendental to material existence. Actually, he is transcendental to material existence. But because of his mentality of lording it over material nature, his material existential condition does not cease. Just as in a dream, he is affected by all sorts of disadvantages. Om Jnana Timrandasya Gananjana Salakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamascha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trivishcha Kripa Sindhu Vivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. It's very interesting that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks mainly about how we shouldn't try to usurp the position of Krishna as being the friend. But at the same time, how he explains that real friendship to the living entities is the distribution of this wonderful knowledge, this knowledge that frees us from the bondage of material life, Krishna consciousness, and how that is the best service that we can provide on this planet to all the living entities. That doesn't just mean human living entities, but all the living entities get the benefit of Krishna consciousness. When we do Harinam Sankirtan, they're hearing the chanting of Hare Krishna, and then for the more developed entities, they get to read the books, and there's prasadam, and so many things which help people to acquire some pious activity. And pious activity will help them to understand this very sublime and high knowledge that we listen to every day, and we hear it, and to really understand it, it's revealed knowledge. even if we read it, we may not fully understand it, because it's revealed bit by bit as we become more and more purified. Krishna opens the knowledge to our understanding. As Prabhupada also talks about the viṣayān asya, about the object of enjoyment, and I thought that was interesting that it's like that, because really that's object of enjoyment is a subjective use of objects, because any object, as we hear in the purport explained by Prabhupada, can be utilized in the service of Krishna. And so it's really our misuse of the objects around us that makes them viṣayān, rather than them being used in seva, and therefore being becoming prasadam instead of bhoga. So ISKCON is disseminating this very, very valuable knowledge, which is like a sword that cuts through the ignorance of Maya. And it's really to upgrade human society. And also he's talking about the dream. And there's a beautiful story that when I was on Navadvip Mandal Parikram in West Bengal, Mayapur, where we go to visit all the holy sites. We do that every year. We go by foot like that to the different places of Lord Chaitanya. And in one place we sat down and they performed drama. Prabhupada loved dramas, and I love dramas too, because dramas are very visual, so they really penetrate our consciousness and we remember the stories very clearly. So I'm going to tell this story about a dream. And this is the lovely story. Is there some water? What? This is a lovely story that Narada Muni, one time he asked Krishna, Krishna, tell me about your Maya. I want to know, what is Maya? What is this illusion, this thing which is that which is not? Can you please explain to me what's this Maya? So Krishna, smiling, with his flute and lotus flower, said, oh, Narada, that's such a nice question, but can you please get me some water? And I will certainly give you the answer. I'm just going to have some water. So Narada, he went off in search of water, because also he understood that when we do seva, that knowledge is revealed. Thank you. So Narada was walking and walking and walking, and somehow, like sometimes, you know, you're trying to get somewhere in a dream and you're walking and you're always trying to get there, but you don't get there. And he's walking and walking, and it's very hot, the sun is shining, and he's perspiring and he's feeling tired. And after a long time of searching for water, he came across a beautiful little cottage, thatched cottage, with a beautiful flower garden with some vegetables growing there and some... and so he approached the cottage to ask where was the nearest drinking water. And when he knocked on the door, the most beautiful young girl, just in her prime of youth, came out with beautiful soft eyes and beautiful form. And when Narada Muni saw her in his state of anxiety looking for water, he fell in love. It was a mutual thing. She also fell in love with Narada Muni, and they got married. And they had many beautiful children, all as beautiful as the mother. And Narada was very happy, caught up in, fixing things around the house, bringing water, doing whatever needed to be done. And the children were playing and running around just like our beautiful Shyamasundar, attracting everyone with his beautiful mannerisms and his little ways of doing things. And the older children were growing up and becoming mature and fine, upstanding adults, and they were very proud of their children, very much in love with each other. And time was passing, and Narada Muni had hung his veena And sometimes he would see his Veena and he would get a strange feeling in his heart, like, I think I forgot something, but he couldn't remember. He was so caught up in his beautiful Grihastha bhav. He was so happy. One day Narada Muni saw in the sky some black clouds. And as he watched, the clouds were rolling in very rapidly, big black clouds. And then, the wind started to come. And the trees started to dance like this. And after a while, they start to move very, very rapidly. And then lightning and thunder came. And then the torrential rain came. Torrential rain pouring down in shafts. And then the accumulated waters came as a flood, a wall of water coming and sweeping away the nice little garden, the nice little house. The whole family grabbed onto a tree, but some of the children couldn't hold on. The force was so strong, and they were bobbling away in the flood waters. And Narada Muni, whose heart was being torn out, and he was holding to his beautiful wife, trying to keep her, protect her. But eventually the force of the stream was so strong that she was ripped away, and he was in his anguish, he cried out to Krishna in heart-rending cries of total despair, Krishna! 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 And then, as he cried and cried and cried, he didn't notice, because his inner pain was so strong, the abating of the storm. And when he finally opened his eyes, there stood beautiful Shyamsundar with beautiful big lotus eyes, with flute, with peacock feather, the beautiful hue of blue, tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness, charming all the three worlds. He saw Krishna with the Vaijayanti mala going right down below his knees, and the bees coming to enjoy the honey of the mala, and his beautiful lotus face, which is described like a moon-like face, a beautiful moon-like face with his sharp-shaped earrings and his lotus eyes dancing. Narada Muni saw him, and Krishna said, "Oh, Narada, you're here. Did you bring my water?" And in that moment, Narada Muni understood everything. He understood everything. The nature of the material world is the nature of Maya. What's not Krishna is just a temporary, illusory, it's a dream. He understood that in that moment. And all jivas, we're caught up in this Maya, this illusion. It's emergency management, so many important things that we have to do that if we don't do it, our small world will fall apart. And in this way, the distracting potency of Maya keeps us ever busy until we make a vow to ourselves that we're going to prioritize Krishna. When we prioritize Krishna, because we think that job, money, and all these things, because soul is always looking for happiness, right? Soul is Anandamaya Bayasat. Soul is naturally, instinctively in search of happiness. And we've been trained in such a way that we think happiness comes from money, from external things. Everybody is thinking external things, except for the yogis, who understand that happiness is coming from within, from the source, from Krishna, who lives in our heart. Everybody else is looking externally, so they're doing so many things to achieve that. And that's how we've developed, through the incredible intelligence of humans, we've developed a very terrible rat race. It's not a human race, it's become a rat race. You can see if you go on the underground in London at rush hour. Many people scurrying through the corridors underground in the darkness, all squashed against each other, pushing to get on the train. Or if you go to India, you'll see on the trains, people on the roofs, hanging out the windows, because we're so caught up in that belief that money is going to bring happiness. And forgetting that Krishna promises here, he promises that if we perform yajna, that all our needs will be provided. The world is designed in that way, that everything is actually here when we follow the way of Krishna. It's hard to see in the modern world because we've changed everything so much, meddled, trying to make it better for more happiness. We've meddled with it in such a way that you can't even see that. But food is a free thing. Water is also free. It's just that man has become a proprietor of the land, of the rivers, of the mountains, and they're claiming it's mine and I will sell it to you, and if you don't have money, then tough luck. And they will fight and kill for it. But actually all these things are free and provided by Krishna for us so that we can sit down and think about him and glorify him. When we talk to other people, that we can glorify him. This is the world. So we're almost, it's like a school, like we have a multiple choice exams in school. Everyone's done that, right? So there's many choices, and according to our choices, we create our future. And like this, because of wrong choices, because of this lack of knowledge, it's not really the people's fault, it's the lack of knowledge, and now we have the ability to give the knowledge to make the right choices. And when we make the right choices, then everything starts to magically heal. Material nature is so amazing that if you stop polluting it, it becomes clean. If you stop killing it, it comes back to life. It's an amazing thing. It's made like that because it's Krishna's separated energy. It's divine. The earth, a living being. Like this relates a lot also. I was thinking about how it relates to, let me see how to connect it. I lost my train of thought. I was trying to remember how we tie it in, how the universe is the same like us. You know, the creation of a child is spirit soul injected into matter, and then there's some emulsifying and things, and then grows the child, and out of that little blob comes the head, out of the little blob comes some arms, and out of those arms come some little fingers, and the eyes start to form. So the universe also evolves in that way from the spirit, from Krishna. And it's really very amazing. And if we let it go by its natural way, like the way that it flows, if we work in harmony, then everything becomes perfect and wonderful. Like Lord Mahavishnu, he's lying on the causal ocean, and from the pores of the hair of his body, so many universes are coming out. And then in those universes, the super soul appears, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu appears, who's the super soul of everything. And within that, out of that comes the creation. So everything follows the same pattern. The patterns are true on the infinite scale as they are on the infinitesimal scale. We can understand everything through looking either way, and when we read the books, only if we read the books. So everyone is running after happiness, and the key to happiness is understanding who is the supreme and who is the proprietor. So I was talking about choices, right? Multiple choices. So we choose our future, and because the soul is the same in all species. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and the soul is the same soul that's in Lord Brahma as is in an ant. But according to the choices of that jiva, it gets different statuses, and these statuses are more limiting or more freeing. They give more opportunity or they block. So there's so many opportunities, like opportunities are portals, opportunities, things to go higher, to understand more. I'm losing my audience. Okay. Jivera swarupa hoy, Krishnera nityadas. Krishnera tatasta shakti, Veda abeda prakash. We're all part and parcel of Krishna. So I'm going to put those away, they're just disturbing me. So the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and we're here, we have choices, and we want to make the right choices and give more opportunity to everyone. The problem on the earth today, the planet is in a position of, the planet is dying. Of course it can't die, but it's in a position of dying. The rivers, the earth, that's our food source, and it's when we understand Krishna consciousness, and when we understand who is the proprietor, when we understand that this planet itself is part of Krishna, then we start to live in such a way that we can bring back healing. When we bring back healing to the planet, we will also heal our bodies. When we bring healing to our spirit, we will also act in a way that will heal the outer world. It's all part of a circle that each step assists the next step, and it keeps going. It's an upward spiral. Present, we're in a downward spiral of destruction, and things are looking very, very terrible. Situation is really very bad, and many people are working to do many things. I saw a very interesting, there's a lot of interesting things, but this struck me a lot, because I was thinking about how, Mahavishnu, he breathes out, and the different planets come out of his pores. But in the translation of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, in the next verse, he doesn't say the planets coming out of the body of Mahavishnu. He said Brahma and the other lords of the mundane world appearing from the pores of hair of Mahavishnu. So he's talking about the deities that are in charge of each and every planet, the personification of the planet, how they are actually a living being with a personality. When we understand that, we start to become personalists, real personalists, not impersonalists. Modern science has become, atheistic science I should say, atheistic science has become impersonalist, and Vedic culture is personal. There is a deity in everything, and Krishna is in every atom. Everything is alive and breathing, and we can make it more alive, and our spiritual life will go up, and we can educate the masses to stop the downward spiral, which is destroying the earth, which is destroying the food, destroying the water, making us all sick and taking us down into deeper ignorance and bad health, and more struggling, more problems and wars and droughts and famines and so many problems. So the upward spiral is, a lot of people are helping, they're not necessarily in the movement, but they have also parts of the story that they're working on, like reforestation, and people who are trying to clean the rivers and protect the earth in different ways. They're all working with Krishna. They may not say Krishna. They may avoid to say Krishna, because if you say Krishna in the modern outside world, you become lumped into a religion. And religion has a very, very bad history. I'm from England. Religion is a bad word in England, and I think most of Europe, because of the atrocities that went on in the name of religion. People don't understand that wasn't religion, and that just thugs and brutes were taking on the dress of religion and doing atrocities. They think that religion itself, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. They think that religion itself is the problem. So if you're aligned with religion, you already get blanked out by a lot of people. So some people who are working for Krishna are not saying Krishna. They're just working silently and helping the planet and helping to raise the consciousness in their way. And some people like us in Hare Krishna society, we're giving them the full McCoy. You know, there's no stopping. We're not holding back anything. We're giving them everything. If you don't serve Krishna, your life is a waste of time. Basically, we say that. Give up all material things, right? Renounce and just serve Krishna. It's not a path for everyone, and so there has to be people who teach things that are a little more soft and that can bring people closer and closer. Yoga, you know, all these different groups who are working for the evolvement of society, and to help everyone to understand that the dream, that it's not only that we're in a dream, like we have, you know, waking state, dreaming state, and deep sleep, but also that's all within a dream. The dream of Mahavishnu is not absolute reality. The reality is Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna, gopis, cowherd boys, Jimina River, Govardhan. That's the reality. All this is phantasmagoria. So we're in a dream, and we're often in total, we're in Maya. And so we want to awaken people to the reality that this life is not the all in all. Why are you doing so many atrocious things, all of which are recorded and all of which will be punishable by the laws of material nature, for nothing, for something temporary, something just 100 years, if you're lucky. People kill people for land, for money, for what? Afterwards they die, they also leave everything behind, right? We don't take anything with us. So this kind of knowledge we have to give to the people, because they're so caught up in the emergency thing that they'll do anything. People kill, in some countries, people kill for cell phones, for radios, all the time. So I've gone on enough, and if there's any quick questions, you can say. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Premanandi, thank you everyone, Hare Krishna.